Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Liam, and today I'm going to be talking about True Grit, the 1969 version. True Grit is directed by Henry Hathaway and stars Kim Darby, John Wayne, and Glenn Campbell. In this film, Kim Darby plays Maddie Ross, a young girl whose father is murdered by a man named Tom Chaney. Maddie decides to go out on an adventure and hopefully bring Tom Chaney to justice with the help of the drunk U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn and the Texas Ranger LaBeef. The last time I saw it, I was like, 8 or 9. And when I saw that movie, I remember I fell asleep within the first few minutes. I was not interested in this movie at all. And I don't really know why, because seeing it again, I have to say, it was actually really good. I really found this movie entertaining. Part of the reason why is because I found a lot of intrigue in the character of Maddie Ross, played very well by Kim Darby. And what I found so interesting about her character is her evolution throughout the film. She's not just this girl who's like set on revenge and has no other kind of characteristics. She actually shows a progression and shows her characteristics throughout the film. She's put in situations where she can be taken as a fool, and she never shows that she's a fool. She actually holds her own with all the tough men that are in this film. And I found that the performance was very honest, very charismatic, and I actually cared about her character, which I thought was very interesting, especially when it deals with a character that is put in a situation as dark as going out to have a man killed for killing your father. And to have that be done, to show a character be charismatic and interesting throughout this entire film, is very impressive. Another thing I really liked about this movie was the performance of John Wayne, who plays Rooster Cogburn. The minute you see him on screen, you kind of say, oh, it's John Wayne. But he actually is able to develop the character. When you learn about this character, you actually start to see Rooster Cogburn, and I think that's very, very impressive. Another thing that I really loved about this movie were the villains of this film. Jeff Curry plays the villain of the movie, Tom Chaney, and he does a very good job. And one thing that I think he does very well is show that this person is a human being and not just an evil villain, you know? But one thing I really loved about his performance is he plays it like an honest person. It's not the scheming bad guy. He's not very smart. He's not intellectual. He's just a drunk guy who killed the father by accident, and you want him to be brought to justice. And you start to sympathize with him, but not in a way that you actually feel like he's good or anything. And I thought that was really well handled. Also, there's another villain in this film named Ned Pepper, played by Robert Duvall, and Robert Duvall does an excellent job in this movie. He's in the film for not the entirety of it, but when he's in the film, he actually asserts himself and gives a very good performance. And a lot of the supporting actors and characters in this film are actually really memorable. There's a scene with a man when Maddie Ross talks to him about trading ponies with him, or selling ponies and then buying ponies back, and it's really funny, and I actually really enjoyed the scene. There's also these characters in a hut, or like a little cabin. They strike a conversation with Rooster and Maddie, and those two characters are really, really good. It's a really tense scene. And I think this movie has a very interesting tone to it, which I actually enjoy. It's not dark, which is interesting because this is very dark subject matter, but it feels like kids can watch this movie. Kids can learn some of the morals from it, and they can enjoy watching it. I think this is a movie that people could watch with their kids and learn something about good-hearted people, learning you can stand up for yourself. It's a great film for young girls to watch especially, and I really enjoyed seeing the realism that these characters bring. It never goes really too far into cliches. It actually introduces new ideas and new characters, and it develops them very well. Now, some of the issues I had with the movie were the character of LaBeef. He's one of the characters where I'm like, I don't get the real progression of him. You know, his entire evolution's a little, it just kind of feels like it had to happen. And also the performance is not great. I mean, Glenn Campbell does a decent job, but it's okay. I mean, it's not anything special. Another big problem that I kind of had was the music at times. That's the problem that I have with this movie, is it feels like it's like very triumphant and very good guy-esque. So whenever you see the people writing, the music's playing, and I'm like, yeah, we know they're the good guys, but we don't need to hear this triumphant music. It just kind of took me out of the mood, and it kind of got rid of some of the realism of the characters, and for me anyway, and I think it works a little bit to the film's disadvantage. Another big problem, it's not really huge, but there's no real big themes to this movie. It's kind of like good versus evil. be a good-hearted person. It's not really going so deep into morals and themes. So I mean, you don't have to stay up nights studying this movie. I saw it once, and I think that's all I need to see of it again for a while. I mean, I did enjoy it, but it's not too deep, so you don't have to analyze this movie too much. You can analyze the characters. It's a great character study. Also, there's a little bit of a interesting ending to this film. I won't spoil it, but it doesn't work against the film because it works with the tone of the movie, and the tone throughout the film is the same. It doesn't really go too dark. It doesn't go too light. So the ending works with the tone, and in that case, it's good to see it. It's good to see that the ending works with the film. But that being said, it also kind of leaves you like, okay. And one thing I didn't mention that actually makes this film great is the opening scene. When we see Maddie interact with her father before he dies, that's great. I love seeing that because then it shows her motivation and how she evolves even more. And I think that was a great addition to the film. So I think that this movie does a great job introducing us to the characters and developing them. So for the film itself, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I think the movie does a great job at introducing the characters to us, showing us their motivations, developing them. I really enjoyed watching the characters unfold throughout the film, and I also really love the opening scene. That scene alone, to show us why Maddie goes on this trek, actually is very well handled, and I think that Henry Hathaway did a great job at showing us why she's motivated to do this, because they have a close relationship in the beginning, and it's good to see that. And personally, I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 5 as well. I really liked this movie. It was entertaining, a little lighthearted in places, and sometimes I felt like the music didn't really work for the film, but overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and I can't wait to see it again. Maybe not too soon, but I will see this movie again. And yeah, I think that this is a movie that you guys should definitely check out. So there it is, guys. 80% for True Grit, the 1969 version from me. Tell me, if you guys have seen the film, what were your thoughts on it? Leave your comments and questions for me down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, take care.